everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at our FatCat EVO ski and snowboard carrier, but also a fishing rod carrier, right here on our 2017 Toyota RAV4. So the FatCat EVO comes as the FatCat EVO 4 or the 6, meaning you get the shorter or the longer version depending on how many skis, snowboards, or fishing rods you want to carry. What we have right here is the 4 version, which is the smaller version. So let's say you want to go out for a trip to the slopes and you want to go skiing, you want to go snowboarding, and you have your own equipment. This is a great way to carry it on your RAV4. And when the seasons change and you want to go fishing instead, you can also use this as a fishing rod carrier. There's a couple of different carriers out there that are a fit for your RAV4, so I would like to say first off that this is one of the more premium carriers because it checks off all the boxes. You have integrated locks, you have some nice cushions on the inside for your skis and snowboards, you have a double jointed system. So we'll take a look at all the features, we'll take some measurements just to see if it's the right fit for you, your equipment, as well as the adventure you're going on. What I have loaded up onto our vehicle right now is one set of skis as well as one snowboard, just to kind of give you an idea of how this works. But for the FatCat EVO 4, you can carry up to 4 pairs of skis, or 2 snowboards, or 6 fishing rods. For the FatCat EVO 6, you can carry up to 6 pairs of skis, 4 snowboards, and I believe 8 fishing rods. So we have our skis and snowboards over here, and notice how much space it takes up on our roof. What's really cool about the FatCat EVO is if you need some extra roof height or roof clearance, you can lift this up. It's called the ski lift design. That way you have more room for clearance. So let's take a look at measurements to see if that's necessary for you and your skis. First, we're going to take a look at where our ski and our snowboard is mounted. Since we have skis there, I'm going to measure from below the skis to the top of our roof, and we have 8 inches of clearance. So that's how much space you have for a single binding on your skis or for your snowboards. Notice also how I have it clamped to our crossbars. Of course, your fit's going to change depending on what kind of roof rack system you have on your RAV4. We have the aftermarket roof rack system from Yakima, which goes around the race rails of our RAV4. And since we have decent overhang, we can put it over to the edge, which gives us more space, or it makes it easier to load and unload our skis and snowboards. Now, if you don't have that overhang, it's going to be closer in towards the center of your vehicle, which means you also have less bar space. So your roof rack that you have on your RAV4 will determine how much space you have outside of the ski and snowboard carrier for other items. So let's take a measurement for that. Measuring from the end of one clamp to the other, it sits at around 16 3/4 inches. That's the distance apart you need on your crossbar to clamp this down. But for the actual length of our system, measuring from the end of the FatCat EVO to where that button is, it sits a little past 29 1/4 inches. That's how much actual space it takes up on top of your roof. So not as much as your crossbar space. That will help you figure out how far out you need it to be in order to load and unload your skis and snowboards. Don't forget, I have the FatCat EVO 4. The FatCat EVO 6 is just a little bit longer than that. With that in mind, you can see here on our RAV4 how easy it is to access those buttons. We have extra large buttons, so even if you have your thick gloves or mittens, you can easily access that ski and snowboard carrier and then begin loading and unloading your skis. Now that our skis and snowboards are off, we can take a closer look at the carrier itself. So there at the very end, we have a double jointed design where not only does it go up and down, once you have your thicker skis and snowboards on there, you can get a little bit of extra height too to wrap around those. What's supporting your skis and snowboards is this nice cushion over here. Notice how this bends down in order to help secure your winter sport equipment. It is made of this nice rubber though, because as it is snowy and as your skis and snowboards are damp, you also want to make sure it's made of a material that will have some grip on it while supporting it and preventing scuffs and scratches. And once you have your skis and snowboards on there, this comes down, and notice how we have these different notches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that way, even if you have your larger skis and snowboards, you have your double joint to give you more space, and it's still secured even at the top. I still recommend trying to push this down as far down as you can get it if possible. And once that's complete, you can then lock it. Finally, the locks. So here we have our same key system locks. You get a key which is able to access both ski and snowboard carriers, so 1 and 2. Now, if you have other Yakima accessories, I highly recommend getting matching lock cores. That way, whether you have a Yakima bike rack, if you have another Yakima ski and snowboard carrier, whatever accessory you have, it's very convenient to only need to use one key to access it all. So for specific measurements and dimensions that are not related to RAV4, you can definitely find that here on our product pages here at eTrailer for both the FatCat 4 as well as the FatCat EVO 6. The FatCat EVO 6 comes in 2 colors as well, so you can get it looking like this, or you can get it in a nice pearl silver looking color. Depending on your trim, you might have different preferences. Now, my personal thoughts about the FatCat EVO is I like how it checks off all the boxes for ease of use, as well as versatility, because you get your integrated locks, you get your large buttons at the end. I have it locked now. You have this nice material and construction that Yakima is very popular for. You have this interesting clamp around design. As you saw, the install process was a little bit in-depth, required different knobs, different levers to tighten things down. So it's a little bit of a learning curve in that area, which I think is the major downside. But you also have different options for different heights. That ski lift feature at the end is very helpful for your extra large bindings. As you could see, we had about 8 inches of clearance though for bindings here on our RAV4, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But it is nice to know that if I have extra large winter sport equipment, I can use it with this carrier. So all in all, it's a great ski and snowboard carrier. Then we have other options as well here at eTrailer. If you want to carry more skis and more snowboards, maybe check out the InnoGravity. It will take up a bit more room on top of your RAV4, but then you can carry more things. But for a full all-in system, this might be a good option for you. So to install your ski and snowboard carrier, there's 2 important things you need to be taking a look at. The first is going to be the clamps. Those go around your crossbars, and then you need to be able to tighten down those clamps. So I'll guide you through the process, but really your first step is just getting it on your crossbar and wrapping these straps around. I'll flip this around so that you can see it, but I usually install it the other way. But notice how the strap goes up and into that clamp. Then you're going to tighten down the gray knob to secure it. Once you have it pretty well tightened down, you can then clasp this down. Now that you have your crossbars clamped down, you're then going to want to secure your ski and snowboard carrier itself. So notice how this pivots. This is going to be helpful, especially if you have a slope on the roof or you have different size equipment. You want to get it as level as you can with your skis and snowboards. I want it right there, so now I'm going to secure it in that position by securing these knobs on top. So flip that lever up, rotate it to tighten it, and once you have a nice secure fit right there, you're going to pop that lever back down. Make sure not to over tighten it, just enough where you get enough tension there. Do the same thing with your other ski and snowboard carrier. Just double check that everything looks secure. And that's it for the install onto your roof rack. And that was a look right here at our FatCat EVO ski and snowboard carrier and fishing rod carrier right here on our 2017 Toyota RAV4.